It's time for Living with Victory, a program of hope and encouragement brought to you by Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Now here's your host, President of Compassion for Kids, Tony Giorgio, with today's message of perseverance.
Welcome to Living with Victory. I'm your host, Tony Giorgio, proving life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. It's called perseverance. And a quick reminder before we get into our program that you can email us with your comments at livingwithvictory@gmail.com. And later on in the show, I'll give you additional information on how to reach us. Have a paper and pencil ready, and you can jot down all that information before we go off the air. Today, I do have my wonderful co-host with me, Laureen, and she is going to bring us the word of the day. And the title of today's show is going to be, He Has You Covered. Hi, Laureen.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here today to talk about how God takes care of us. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. This is from Hebrews 2:13. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
To follow through with that, we have an email we received a little while ago, and it's a scripted email about a conversation between God and one of his children. And we're going to read through this and bring the point up that he does have you covered.
God, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Promise you won't get mad?
I promise.
Why did you let so much stuff happen to me today?
What do you mean?
Well, I woke up late.
Yes.
My car took forever to start.
Okay.
At lunch, they made my sandwich wrong and I had to wait. On the way home, my phone went dead, just as I picked up a call.
All right.
And to top it all off, when I got home, I just wanted to soak my feet in my foot massager and relax. But it wouldn't work. Nothing went right today. Why did you do that?
Well, let me see. The death angel was at your bed this morning, and I had to send one of my other angels to battle him for your life. I let you sleep through that.
Oh.
I didn't let your car start because there was a drunk driver on your route that might have hit you if you were on the road.
Oh.
The first person who made your sandwich today was sick, and I didn't want you to catch what they had. I knew you couldn't afford to miss work.
Oh.
Your phone went dead because the person that was calling you was going to give a false witness about what you said on that call. I didn't even let you talk to them, so you would be covered.
I see, God.
Oh, and that foot massager, it had a short that was going to throw out all of the power in your house tonight. I didn't think you wanted to be in the dark.
I'm so sorry, God.
Don't be sorry. Just learn to trust me in all things, the good and the bad.
I will trust you, God.
And don't doubt that my plan for your day is always better than your plan.
I won't, God. And let me just tell you, God, thank you for everything today.
You're welcome, child. It was just another day being your God, and I love looking after my children. Wow, isn't that something? I mean, there's so much truth in that. You have no idea. I know it was scripted, but we're going to give you some live action stories here that are true, that we experienced in the same way as this email portrayed, not realizing that he does have you covered because you get the benefit of doing it his way and not always your way. He's always there. Do you remember? Let's start out with leaving New York.
Oh, yes. I do remember that very, very clearly. We were supposed to leave the very next morning around 6 a.m.
Oh yeah, it was early morning, and I was still convalescing from the phlebitis. I had been out of the hospital for a bit, but I still had problems.
Right. However, whatever could go wrong did go wrong. We were supposed to get the car delivered to us that night because it was being repaired. No one was able to bring it to us.
No, the person who was fixing it left it where a friend of mine was going to have somebody drive it to us, but the person who was going to drive it to us didn't show up. It was total chaos. Now, my friend was like 5 miles away where the car was, and this was an old beat up.
I think it was a Plymouth.
A Plymouth or whatever. It was falling apart at the seams, and by the grace of God, we got it put back together, and we're headed to Florida with this thing, all right? We don't have any other way of going. There's no transportation, all right? We're on Long Island to begin with. You can't hop on a bus. You can't take a train, so we're out.
The only way to get around on the island is with a car.
Yeah, that was it. It's sort of like Western North Carolina, the suburbs, the mountains. It was a tough night because we were really, really upset. We were putting all the blame on everybody and anybody, including God. It's like, okay, here we go again.
We were calling everyone to see who could just pick Tony up and drop him off. Just such a short distance by car. We fell asleep. We were so tired. Every place that we tried, we hit a wall. I woke up, I guess it was about 2 in the morning, and Tony was gone. He decided to walk.
Oh, yes, I'm walking, and we're in the country, pretty much. We weren't in an urban area, not that populated.
I didn't even know he was planning to do this, so I'm home wondering, where did he go? Is he dead?
Somebody kidnapped him?
So there I am, just praying up a storm.
Little by little, I sat where I could sit, on the ground, on a wall, just to take it easy. And daylight is starting, the dawn's early light was coming. And I got a little bit closer. It was up and down. It was a little hilly, if you remember, in that area. And got to my friend's house, and they were waiting in the morning for us because we were going to leave very early. So they were up, and I finally got there a little exhausted, got myself some coffee, relaxed a little bit, got the car, brought it back to the house, and there we were. We were on our way to Florida. We made it.
What struck me looking back now is that I really believe God allows those hard times. At the time it seemed totally impossible. I couldn't understand anything that was going on. But looking back, he allowed that to happen to flex our trust muscle. So even from the very beginning, he gave us something to have to work with.
Oh, yes. Yes. At the time, you'd think, why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to be scared? It's a learning process, folks. As I grow older, I realize all the lessons. Think about the people who we were about to help out in Florida, and how many times they walked in the dark, and how many times I remember a mother selling her furniture so her child could have treatment. The point is that, it may be tough, but you can do it.
We made about 3 trips with that car back and forth from New York to Florida, getting things settled. And coming back, the last time we hit Washington, and we were just out of money. And the gas tank was almost
empty, right? Yeah.
And we prayed, and all I could say is only by the Holy Spirit did we get home from Washington back out to Long Island.
Oh, yeah, because what do we have? Another 5 hours from Washington
exactly.
to where we live, and on a tank that said just about empty, and it was a big car. In those days, you were allowed to drive big cars because you're paying 2 cents a gallon or whatever it was. wasn't bad, but it was an 8-cylinder car. That's all we had. That's what we were given, actually.
Gas guzzler.
It took a lot of gas, but son of a gun, we got from Washington, as God is my witness, as they say, to Long Island, which was probably a 5-hour trip, without having to put gas in that car. So there's the rest of the story. The devil just didn't want us to do this.
Well, he knew compassion was going to be born. We didn't know. We were just going down there to go to work and make a living and get back on our feet.
He does have us covered, and we can prove it over and over and over again. There's no doubt.
I'm really very sure that if you go back and think about your life, you could find times when God was there. And, you don't see it at the time, but you just look back and you would realize that God is there. 2 Samuel 22:31. As for God, his way is perfect. If we could only learn that his way is perfect. He loves us so much that even in the smallest thing that is in our life, if we allow him to take control of everything, he cares that much to care about things that seem like he shouldn't bother with. And
right.
That's what makes him so precious.
That's right. He's a personal God, and he does want to be involved in every area of your life. It doesn't matter how small. Doesn't have to be the big crisis. It could be, what color shoes am I going to wear today? That's it. He's there for all of it. And even with another quick one, when I was coming home from working at Walt Disney, I worked a graveyard shift and worked in the organization during the day. I had just about a head-on collision at 8 o'clock in the morning. They had to cut me out of the car, man. I was a mess. I thought I was going to die. If I looked over to my left at the light, what did I see? I saw an ambulance sitting at the red light. The guy come over to help me. I mean, I had immediate attention, medical attention. Not because I'm special or me, Tony Giorgio. I am one of billions of people who's a child of God. That was it.
Now, if you want to think about coincidences, how much of that could have been a coincidence? That was too perfect.
So remember that. He does have you covered. And like I promised, we're starting to run out of time, and I want to give you the rest of this information for today. I hope we have been a blessing to you. And remember, if you've got your paper and pen ready, that you can reach us, okay, at livingwithvictory@gmail.com. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Or you can log on to livingwithvictory.org to hear previous programs through YouTube, GodTube. We have a button on there. You can send us a message by clicking the Contact Us button. Or you can actually donate online with our secure PayPal account. And remember that support for this ministry does come from our listeners. This ministry is about perseverance and faith through Jesus Christ. And also, if you'd like, we will send you a free CD of the program for any amount. You send us a donation, we'll send you a free CD in the mail. And remember, till next week, this is Tony Giorgio
and Laureen
saying, have a blessed week. Remember, you keep dancing in that rain because God is your umbrella. Bless you.
You've been listening to Living with Victory with your host, motivational and inspirational speaker, Tony Giorgio. Support for Living with Victory comes from Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Your tax-deductible donations can be sent to Compassion for Kids, P.O. Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751. Tony is also available to speak to your group or organization. You can call him at 828-926-4600. Join us again next week at this time for another uplifting story of dancing in the rain.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side.